Are you ready to learn?
Discuss, and share about the first voyage around the world? Let's start.
And let's go! Guide questions. Who is Antonio Pigafetta? What are the events that resulted to the writing of First Voyage Around the World? What the content is all about? What important historical information found in the document First Voyage Around the World? What is or are the contribution and relevance of the document First Voyage Around the World in understanding the grand narrative of Philippine history?
Antonio Pigafetta. Known by the name of Antonio Lombardo or Francisco Antonio Pigafetta, famous Italian traveler, born in Vicenza around 1490, died in the same city in 1534, studied astronomy, geography, and cartography, and during his younger years, he worked in the ships owned by the Knights of the Rhodes. Joined the Magallanes Elcano famous expedition to the Moluccas began in August 1519 and finished September 1522. Had a handwritten account of the expedition entitled The First Voyage Around the World, which will be analyzed later.
Historical context. The first voyage around the world was written in one of the 5 ships of the Magallanes Elcano expedition. King Charles V provided the Spanish fleet named Armada de Molucca, which was led by Magellan. These 5 ships were first one to circumnavigate around the world that was led by Ferdinand Magellan, a Portuguese explorer, and when he died in the Battle of Mactan, Juan Sebastian Elcano took over. The 5 ships, Santiago, San Antonio, Concepcion, Trinidad, Victoria. Out of the 5 ships, only 3 ships reached in the Philippines. After the Battle of Mactan, their man is enough to man 2 ships, Trinidad and Victoria. Until they returned to Spain, only 1 ship survived, which is Victoria. One of the survivors was Antonio Pigafetta, which gave the journal about their expedition.
Context, presentation, and analysis of the important information found in the document. The timeline during their stay in the Philippines. In March 16, 1521, they arrived in Zamal, now Samar. The island was called Humono or Humonhon. Locals welcomed them by giving them their native products such as fish, pigs, coconuts, and palm wine. In March 31, 1521, they held the first Mass in the Philippines. It was Sunday morning, held at Mazawa Limazawa, attended by locals, islanders, Spanish voyagers, the 2 Rajas, and Magellan. In April 7, 1521, it was the arrival in Zobu. Arrived at the port of Zobo, Cebu, the largest and the most trade island. Pigafetta described the inhabitants' houses that were made of logs, fired mortars as a sign of peace and friendship. Tension between the king of Zobo and the voyagers and Magellan threatened them to wage war. In April 14, 1521, image of Child Jesus. Held Mass with Raha Humabon and baptized 800 souls. Pigafetta shown the image of Child Jesus and a cross to the Queen and asked to keep in place of her idols. The Child Jesus is known today as Santo Niño, which is celebrated every January in Cebu. In April 27, 1521, it was the battle in Mactan. Dato Zola, chief of the island Mactan, welcomed them, but si Lapu-Lapu, the other chief, refused to obey to the King of Spain. Dato Zola requested the captain to defeat si Lapu-Lapu, which started the battle. Natives outsmarted them, used patibombs to defeat them. The voyagers were losing in this battle. In April 28, 1521, the death of Magellan. Captain told them to give up this losing battle, but this man insists. Magellan was shot in the leg with a poisoned arrow. He died. Their mirror, comfort, and true guide as what Pigafetta described. They retreat, leaving their captain dead. In September 8, 1522, Victoria, the only ship survived, finally arrived as Seville, thus ending the Magallanes Elcano expedition.
Contribution and relevance of the documents in understanding the grand narrative of Philippine history. The account contributed to the field of geography, navigation, and history. It proved that the earth is not flat, and one can go to the east by sailing west. The discovery that there is a big body of eastern side of American continent, which they called Pacific Ocean, make us known the different native products during the pre-colonial period such as palm wine, figs, coconuts, and palmetto, and such. It proved that the Philippines was rich in natural resources even before the colonial period. Described the barter trade during the colonial period make us known the physical appearance of our ancestors. Wearing gold earrings, gold armlets on their arms, kerchiefs on their heads, describes the economic and political status during the pre-colonial period.
Describe the faith or religion during the pre-colonial period. For Shepherd, this account is an evidence
that these voyagers first introduced to us Christianity. They taught our ancestors worship idols. Let us know some rare animals present during that era. Let us know way of life or ancestors such as their houses and livelihood, and evidence that most of the Filipino are hospitable even before. Let us know the funeral practices and belief during the pre-colonial period show the nationalism of Lapu-Lapu before. It also show how wise and prepared they fought against the voyager.
It is important to know these things, our origin, because we can understand our own identity, we can learn to preserve our culture, and we can correct the mistakes that happened in the past.